So I spoke the other day about Cersei's Walk of Atonement, and when she's doing it, something comes back to her, a memory of another Walk of Atonement that happened in Lannisport. And the woman in question was her grandfather's mistress. Tywin's father, Lord Tytos Lannister, I say it all the time, he's the biggest pushover. He was a soft touch. People took advantage and he let them. Now, Tywin's mother, Lady Jane Marbrand, had died, and Tytos had these two mistresses, but it's the second one that I want to focus on. Basically, he brought her around a little too much. She kind of got her feet under the table, and it got to the point where she was wearing all of these fine gowns, and she was even wearing Tywin's dead mother's jewellery. Like, that's what was going on. And Tytos, he was asking this woman for her advice. Like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And Tywin is just sat there seething. He clearly did not trust this woman. And maybe it was for good reason, because everyone knew Tytos was easily manipulated. And that's what Tywin thought was happening. Now, the story goes that Tytos Lannister, he was climbing the stairs one day to visit his mistress, and his heart just gave out. And the first thing that Tywin does is to banish the mistress. Cersei had been a year old when her grandfather died, and the first thing her father had done on his ascension was to expel his own father's grasping, low-born mistress from Casterly Rock. The silks and velvets Lord Tytos had lavished on her, and the jewellery she had taken for herself, had been stripped from her, and she had been sent forth naked to walk through the streets of Lannisport so the West could see her for what she was. And that's what it's all about. The Walk of Atonement, for women, it is to degrade them, it's to take them down a peg or two. Now, Cersei was too young to actually have seen this, but she heard the stories, and this became an infamous tale in the Westerlands. Like, do you remember that woman and what happened to her? They spoke of how the woman had wept and begged, of the desperate way she clung to her garments when she was commanded to disrobe, of her futile efforts to cover her breasts and her sex with her hands as she hobbled barefoot and naked through the streets to exile. One guard said this woman, the mistress, was vain and proud, she was, before. So haughty, you'd think she forgot she come from dirt. Once we got her clothes off her, though, she was just another whore. That's what they think of this woman. And she's cast out. She's forced to do this humiliating ritual. And then she's told, never come back here. We don't want to see you around these parts ever again. You don't get that many walks of atonement. It's fairly rare. But when it happens, it's big and it's a bad spectacle. Like, it's horrendous. And the whole thing's a double standard, because men have bastards left, right and centre, and nobody says a word to them. Like, it's only for women stepping out of line. That's the real purpose behind this Walk of Atonement. And to make the woman strip naked, that's just an extra level. It's how much more can we humiliate you? Because we're driving home the point. Your behaviour is unacceptable. You better conform. And that's the reason that these Walks of Atonement are as harsh as they are. It's to frighten everybody else into behaving. God forbid you wind up having to do a walk yourself. If you were to ask Tywin, why did you do that? His justification would be, I'm protecting House Lannister. She couldn't be trusted. We don't know what her agenda is. She's lowborn, like she's just grasping for something. She's a money grabber. But let me just flip it, just for argument's sake, to be devil's advocate. If you're a lowborn woman in Westeros, you don't have that many opportunities. So if the chance comes along to be the mistress of the Lord of Casterly Rock, I mean, some women are going to go, yeah, that's the best chance I'm going to get. So can we blame this woman? She didn't commit any crimes. I mean, it was a bit inappropriate wearing the jewels and everything. I mean, they could have been a bit more discreet about the whole thing. And that's Tywin's issue. It's the fact his father was so public, and that's why Tywin felt that the response had to be public as well. A public Walk of Atonement to let this woman know exactly what Tywin thinks of her. Tywin Lannister, in a nutshell, is trying to not be his father. He doesn't want House Lannister to look weak like it did during his father's time. So Tywin overcompensates and goes too far to the other end of the spectrum. And when this happens, Tywin is still relatively young, but it goes to show he doesn't have any scruples. He's already committed the reigns of Castamere. I mean, not really a massacre, an evisceration, really, an extinguishing of these houses. He's already done that. He's got form. So in a way, this is not surprising, but it's the sheer level of animosity that is directed at this woman. And it's like, it's a chance for everybody to get their complaints out. You've got a gripe with the world, come and have a go and yell at this woman, blame it on her. And these crowds at the Walks of Atonement, it becomes like a hostile mob, and people just shout and scream and throw things just for the sake of it. This woman hadn't done anything to you. I don't think Tywin ever thought that even though he had inflicted a walk of atonement on someone else, whether you think it's justified or not, Tywin never thought his own daughter would go through the same thing. And the fact that Cersei was a queen, it's telling women, doesn't matter who you are, you could be lowborn, you could be highborn, your behaviour has to conform to what we expect. And if you don't, this is what will happen to you.